Phillips Gym for tonight's Gold Division I Championship game at Phillips Gym in Pasadena ISD between the Brennan Bears and Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes. Before we get started, please rise and move your hats so we can hear from the Sam Rayburn Choir and our national anthem. Starting at guard, junior number 5, Time. Starting at guard, sophomore number 12, Jacob Padilla. And starting at guard, senior number 21, Camden Cowgill. The Bears are coached by Coach Cowgill. And now the starting lineup for the home team, the Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes. Representing District 12 5A and coming into today's game with a record of 8-0. At guard, junior number 1, Armani Diaz. At guard, senior number 3, Jonathan Walker. At guard, senior number 5, Ian Lowe. Starting at forward, senior number 12, Chase Crawford. And at the forward, senior number 20, Kevin Sargent. Buffalo are run by Johnny Murphy, Harvey Baker, Tanis Armand, Gary Thomas.
Basketball tournament, the largest, most prestigious high school basketball tournament in the state of Texas. For the last 21 years, Pasadena and Deer Park, Texas have paved the way with Fall Madness as the road to state starts here. I'm Mark Del Barrio along with Gerard Sanchez, ready to share the Division I Gold Boys Final with you live on YouTube in a matchup between the San Antonio Brennan Bears and the Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes. We're right at tip-off.
Both teams undefeated. For the Buffaloes, they are 8-0, and for the Bears, they are 6-0. Fort Bend Marshall in the whites and San Antonio Brennan in the gold. Both these teams mirroring the same school colors, just it's different white and gold. Here is the tip, and it's won, and San Antonio Brennan has the basketball, and we are underway. The McDonald's Texas Invitational, the Gold Division Championship game for boys.
Both teams with some really top recruits is what I'm hearing. Kingston Fleming's number 1 for the San Antonio Brennan Bears, just recently signed with the Houston Cougars. Do I hear a go Cougs from you?
See Kellen Sampson behind us in attendance, the son of Kelvin Sampson, head basketball coach for University of Houston. Camden Kogel, the son of head coach Cody Kogel. The ball is tipped up in the air, and it's going to be in, and San Antonio Brennan has the first 2 points of the ball game.
That was Jacob Padilla, number 12.
Now Fort Bend Marshall is on the attack. Fort Bend Marshall, coached by legendary head coach in the greater Houston area, Ronnie Courtney. Ball is going to be at half court, and a foul. Jacob Padilla pushing Ian Lowe. Lowe had that ball at midcourt, and then it was just pushed. And I don't think that Padilla meant to. By the way, for San Antonio Brennan and Fort Bend Marshall, Buffaloes, Armani Theus, Jonathan Walker, Lowe, who we just mentioned, Chase Crawford, and Kevin Sargent. That is the starting 5 for Fort Bend Marshall. San Antonio Brennan, a couple of years ago, they went to the state tournament and lost in the semifinals. They are Kingston Fleming, Talon Todd, Time Todd. They are twins, Jacob Padilla and Camden Kogel. At the top, Rainbow 3, good. Chase Crawford.
That took almost a minute and a half. Marshall moving the ball around, finally being patient, waiting for their shot.
Kogel to the basket, and he throws it up with his left hand. You mentioned that you have seen Camden Kogel, the senior, 6'4", play. You saw him shoot the ball. He's got somewhat of an unorthodox shot. You didn't see it there on the layup. It was a running left-handed layup, but he's a gym rat. He's a gamer to the basket. It is no good. Fort Bend Marshall missing it. They get the offensive rebound, but it's going to be thrown away, and Padilla has the ball, and a blocking foul on Armani Theus, 6'1" junior. Ronnie Courtney over at Fort Bend Marshall, the head coach, and he has had a decorated career. 41 years in coaching. Loose on the floor and to the basket. A layup is going to be good by Armani Theus.
Yesterday's game between San Antonio Brennan and the Allen Eagles was just a slugfest. It went into overtime, and Brennan, it looked like two college basketball teams playing against each other, and this is pretty much the same type of outcome we're going to have today.
Kogel try to go inside, instead he's going to go outside to Padilla. Long three, Fleming's front iron, and it goes through. The basketball guy kissing that through on the top of the rim, and then it falling through. Sargent throws up the shot, no good. Fleming's good defense interior.
One thing I can tell you about Fleming's is he is a defensive beast. He knows exactly where to be, exactly how to position himself when he's playing D.
2-point lead by Brennan. Low. Armani Theus. Seeing Armani Theus, I automatically think of Reggie Theus. Layup is up and in by Sargent.
And it's tied up again with 4:14 left to go in the first period.
Saw a really good girls Division I championship game. Converse Judson winning the gold championship against the Pearland Lady Oilers.
That was a spectacular game. A lot of talent on both teams.
Shot is up and no good. Here comes Marshall. Got it to go. Walker hits the jump shot. His first 2 points of the ball game. That final earlier today, 42-31 in favor of the Lady Rockets.
And a pass across the court turned into a turnover for Brennan. Marshall on the inbound pass.
So there's some similarities in these two championship games with the boys and the girls. The girls had Converse Judson against Pearland. You had San Antonio versus Houston. And now you have San Antonio Brennan against Fort Bend Marshall. San Antonio versus Houston. Used to be that you would have the Dallas schools that would be in this championship ball game, like a Duncanville, or for girls, a DeSoto for boys. Shot is up and no good, and a foul is going to be whistled on Fort Bend Marshall's Armani Theus. The Buffaloes, as I mentioned, a record of 8-0 They're in 5A.
What I've noticed with sports is things get cyclical. Things just kind of evolve, morph to one part of the state, then to another, then back around again.
Kogel hits the rainbow three from the corner. Art, I got another name for you. I'm throwing out all these names from the past, but the rainbow, Purvis Short. You remember him?
Purvis Short.
Yeah.
Remind me.
Played for Golden State and the Houston Rockets, and he had that rainbow shot that was just a very high arcing shot. And I've seen that here a couple of times already in the early going between these two ball clubs. The rainbow, he actually, Purvis Short, went on to have a really solid career, but he learned how to shoot the rainbow, a high arcing shot. His dad wanted him to shoot the ball, so he defended him with a broom, and he had to shoot over the broom. And the reason being is because he didn't want his son's shot to be blocked. And he went on to have a great career in the NBA. Padilla to the basket, throws it up. It is no good. And then a foul is going to be called against San Antonio Brennan.
That's Padilla's second foul.
And Padilla's going to, looks like he will come out of the ball game, and coming in is Antoine Ferguson, the 6'1" senior. You know, this is the premier tournament of the area, and most likely one of the premier tournaments, not only in the state, but in the nation, Art.
You know, this tournament has been around for 21 years, and they get the best teams in the state of Texas. They pair them off in a way that the competition is very alike. You've got two teams, two like teams playing against each other, which helps the teams improve, especially at the start of the season.
Fleming's losing the ball out of bounds in the corner. Rather, Theus losing the ball out of bounds, and it's going to be a turnover. 3-point lead by San Antonio Brennan. Fleming's to inbound. Ferguson out to Kogel, and he hits another three-pointer. Over on the left side, Kogel already with 8 points in the ball game in this first quarter, and it's now Brennan 15-0, and Marshall trying to get some fluid motion on their offense. Brennan is really extending their defense away from the three-point line. Layup is good, and noticing that for Ben Marshall, they took it to the basket and got a high percentage shot.
There's Kogel again.
He answers his third three-pointer in this first quarter. 11 points for Camden Kogel, 6'4" senior, the son of head coach Cody Kogel.
What people have been telling me about this tournament is if any player on Brennan gets on a shooting roll, it just becomes a clinic.
Yeah, they get hot, and then the things start to fall for them, and then it's an avalanche, isn't it?
They can knock up some. They can.
Their first game opponent on Thursday, as that shot is no good. They played the Clearbrook Wolverines out of Clear Creek ISD, and they really put it to them, 73-32. Then they played Grand Oaks out of Conroe ISD, and Brennan beat them 71-55. Brennan then defeated Iowa Colony on Friday, 81-65, the Pioneers. And then Allen and Brennan, and that was an overtime game that Brennan won. And Kogel had over 30 points in that ball game in overtime earlier.
Yes, it was an incredible game. It was an incredible game. I saw that game yesterday, and it went into overtime, and it ended with a fierce slam dunk by Flemings.
And speaking of, he's got the ball. Flemings with 1 second left, no good, and we are through one. It was close for a little bit, and then Brennan put some distance between themselves and Fort Bend Marshall, and they'll take a 7-point lead going into quarter two from the McDonald's Texas Invitational. The road to state starts here.
Well, that was the fastest quarter I've ever seen. I don't even think I saw the ball stop at any time.
Well, this will give us a chance to thank our sponsors that make this tournament possible, and you know the The Pasadena Independent School District Education Foundation, so instrumental in getting everything organized. There's so many moving components of this tournament, but it's been run and it's been organized for so long, and everybody's got a job, and they do it so well.
As a matter of fact, I do sit on the committee for the Texas Invitational, and we start meeting in January. Dr. Kirk Lewis, former superintendent, is the chair of the committee, and he's got us on task. He's got a great agenda. Every meeting we get together, we look at our finances, we look at everything from culinary to making sure the teams are notified, making sure it's not an easy endeavor because we have at least 10 gyms that we're working with throughout the Pasadena Deer Park area.
Well, the thing that I like about this tournament and that we've talked about over the years is the organization that goes into it and the time. And you do meet in January, and it takes a full good 11 months to make sure everything is in motion and running smooth. It'll be Fort Bend Marshall's basketball to start quarter number 2 as they trail by 7, 18-11, and a bad pass, a turnover, and San Antonio Brennan will get the ball back. You know, you talked about the volunteers, and how about the students volunteering, that they really stepped up and they have a big part into everything that goes on with this school district in the tournament.
They have one of the most important roles with the culinary kids from our culinary programs at each of our high schools cook the food for the hospitality rooms. But if you're watching us right now and listening to us right now on YouTube, the entire broadcast team is the AV classes from our high schools. They are getting hands-on experience, and they're going to be featured in a magazine next month. And when I told the reporter that they did 160 games, he said, all year? And I said, no, in 3 days.
I'm sure that he was quite amazed at that.
Well, the quality of the video that you're watching is top-notch. I mean, it's top-notch, and these are kids doing it. That's amazing. The education that they're getting hands-on with a professionally run tournament, and they're the ones sitting at the helm running the show, is incredible.
To the free throw line low, and he'll get 2 shots. First one hits nothing but the bottom of the net. Art, you mentioned about the magazine. Can you go into a little bit more detail about that honor?
Can't get too much into detail about it. It's kind of still top secret, but I am going to say they will be featured in a magazine soon, and once the magazine releases, we will start going into full bragging mode.
Well, it's a very important honor, I'm sure, as the foul is called. And this is going to be 2 free throws now coming up for San Antonio Brennan.
Okay, so not only is it the AV team, we've also got the journalism and photography students stationed at every school, taking photos, making sure they're the smart team, the social media response team, and they're getting things onto social media for us and keeping the engagement going, keeping people aware of what's going on throughout this tournament at all times.
The organization and the planning and everything. And then, you know, for the students, you mentioned the AV and the video production that they are doing, getting that hands-on experience. That is so important. Boy, I wish I had that when I was in high school. Marshall, a 3-ball in the corner, and that is good. Chase Crawford, a 6'5" senior, drilling that 3-point shot, and it's a 4-point game for San Antonio Brennan. Kingston Flemings, he answers with a 3 on the other side.
Goes back to 7 points.
Marshall, mentioned head coach Ronnie Courtney for the longest time. He was over at TSU, Texas Southern University. Got them in the NCAA tournament once. So that's a layup is good by Kevin Sargent. 41 years as a head coach. He played high school ball at Houston Sterling. And, of course, that is also the great Hall of Fame high school of Clyde Drexler. And Ronnie was before Clyde Drexler's time over there at Sterling. Checking out the ball game is Antoine Ferguson. Coming into the ball game for San Antonio Brennan. Looks like that's Ward. Kogel.
Back out to Flemings. There's another 3. short.
This time it is no good, and getting the rebound is Padilla. Another three-point shot is good from Kogel. Kogel with 4 three-point field goals, and he's got 14 points in the ballgame. Well, I always remember in pickup basketball and talking trash and always telling my friend as the shot on the other end comes through for Fort Bend Marshall, they get the offensive rebound and then they stick it to them. And I always remember, you never give a superstar a second chance. And that was the offensive rebound, and they got that second chance. Marshall on the other end, and this time it is loose, helter-skelter basketball picked up, and Kogel comes away with the steal to Padilla. Flemings. Todd, left-handed shot, front iron, no good. Long pass, and that's going to be saved.
So one thing about Flemings is he is not selfish with the ball. He can see the whole floor and will get it into the hands of the open man.
And gets the layup. Jaden Jones, 6'5" junior. Mentioned head coach Ronnie Courtney with Fort Bend ISD. He was the head coach over at Bush earlier, and he won a state championship back in 2010. And the ball coming Art Del Barrio's way once again. And if the fans weren't watching on our girls basketball game a couple of times, so the basketball comes right here at center court, right to my broadcast partner, Art Del Barrio. And, well, nothing's changed in the boys basketball game. You got a magnet on you, huh?
Put me in, coach.
Today's officials, Byron Evans, David Nash, and Aaron Rollins. David Nash with the basketball is going to hand it over to Armani Theus out of the Houston chapter. Jonathan Walker, Jaden Jones now to Lowe. Underneath, Sargent gets the lay-in. Point-blank shot. And now Marshall has cut it down to a 2-point game. Halfway through period number 2. Padilla to the basket. Blocked! Get that out of here. Jaden Jones blocking the shot of Talon Todd. I love the block shot. Rim protectors.
This is just an incredibly tight defensive game.
To tie the game, got it to go. Jonathan Walker for Fort Bend Marshall ties the game at 25 as we are closing in on 3 minutes in the first half. Now it is Flemings. Flemings, stop and start, popping, got it.
That was 2 points for Fleming. One thing you can say, anybody who can stand up to either one of these teams, or you've played toe-to-toe with either of these teams, you are an elite team in the state of Texas.
2-point lead for Brennan. Brennan lost a buzzer beater in the regional semifinals last year to Round Rock Stony Point. So they've had that goal and mission to get back to where they were a couple of years ago to win their region and get to San Antonio, their hometown, to play in the Alamo Dome at the state tournament. Believe it or not, the state tournament, this is going to be now the 9th year that they have had it at the Alamo Dome for so many years, going all the way back to the 40s. They had it in Austin, whether it be at the Gregory Gym on campus, University of Texas, or the old Frank Irwin Center.
My gosh, I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
Known as the Drum. And saw a lot of teams that played in this tournament play over in Austin. And now eventually San Antonio. Jones losing the ball, picked up by Theus in the corner low. No good. Sargent, 2 in the foul. It ties the game. And a chance to give Marshall their first lead. since it was 3-2 in the early going of the ball game.
Once again, both these teams are playing at the highest level of basketball in Texas, and they're showing it.
Three-point play the old-fashioned way. Kevin Sargent. Sargent, the leading scorer for Fort Bend Marshall with 11 points, and he's got the ball, hands it off to Jones. Jones loose on the floor. He's calling timeout. And do they award it to him? They do. They award a timeout to Fort Bend Marshall. The Buffaloes by a point, closing in on 2 minutes with 2:09 in the second quarter. You know, it brings me up to the social media that we have this tournament.
Social media, we're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, now called X, and our kids are taking care of a lot of this. The communication team for Pasadena ISD, the students with the AV departments, the photography students, the journalism students, over 250 people working collaboratively to make sure that this is taken care of on social media. Now, the analytics that we have are off the charts. Just on YouTube alone, we have already surpassed what we did last year by over 50%.
Wow, that's amazing.
So last year on the first day, we had, first day, we had 14,000 views. This year on the first day, we had over 26,000 views.
That's quite an increase right there.
And we were talking about it earlier. We have somebody in France is watching us because YouTube lets us know where people are watching us from. And there's someone in a small town in France that has watched over 18 of our games.
Yeah, well, there's several people in France. It's a little village that has been watching. Marshall with a 1-point lead. Foul is called, and Jones will go to the line to shoot 2 shots.
So it's Argenteuil, France is the city of France. So if you are in France watching us right now, we know you're watching us. We love that you're watching us, and thank you for watching us from across the Atlantic.
It's probably the next day over there, I think. Time Todd gets the foul, his first, and the free throw is good by Jaden Jones.
The majority of the people that are watching us, though, are from around the state of Texas and Oklahoma. We've seen some from different parts of the country, and some in Mexico, some in France.
Both free throws by Jaden Jones. Jones has 4 points, and the biggest lead for the Buffaloes. Bears with the basketball. Padilla, a pickpocket. Lowe picks the pocket, and then they get it right back. 3 straight away by Keene. No good. Trey Keene into the ballgame for the first time. And a steal. Kogel gets the steal. Trying to go in was Lowe. Kogel picked his pocket, and a foul. Flemings goes to the basket. He will go to the line to shoot 2. Well, as quick as the first quarter was, the second quarter has been drawn out a little bit more.
It sure has, but there has been a lot of physicality in this game right now. It's rough out there.
First free throw is good.
It is not the game it was 20 years ago.
Bigger, faster, stronger. Just the athletic ability. Marshall with the ball. Jonathan Walker fighting his way in the paint, gets it blocked. Flemings. Kogel. No good. See if they hold for the final shot, Art. We got a little over a minute to play in the second quarter. 2-point lead by Marshall. They might go on the attack if something presents itself. Yep, they're going to go for it. No good. Lowe is open for a 3, and Kogel now with the ball in his hands. Todd for three. And it's a 1-point lead for Brennan.
You know, Kogel is they have him listed as a guard. They've got everybody listed as a guard, but I think he's a forward. But you'd think he was a guard.
The way he handles the ball on the perimeter and can create his own shot.
And he's gunning threes. The big tall guys aren't usually the ones that do that, and he's just got some exceptional skills.
And that's going to roll in by Lowe. He was patient. He waited. And now Kogel at the buzzer. No good. Didn't get it off in enough time. I really like that move by Lowe. He was toying with his defender Padilla, and then he took it to the rim and got the friendly bounce. And a very tough and tight one here at halftime. 32-31, Fort Bend Marshall over San Antonio Brennan in the boys Division I Gold McDonald Texas Invitational Championship game.
Some spectacular basketball by some elite teams. Wow, is all I have to say.
Well, it's halftime. We'll come back for the third quarter.
Ladies and gentlemen in the building, all T-shirts are now
Education Foundation.
The foundation does incredible work supporting the students and the teachers of Pasadena ISD. Your donations help fund scholarships, classroom mini grants, and so much more.
Imagine if every viewer donated just $1. With over 80,000 viewers for this tournament, we could raise more than $80,000 for the foundation and the students of Pasadena ISD.
Every dollar counts. It makes a huge difference. So please, at this time, pull out your phones and text MTXI 24 to 41444.
Again, that's MTXI 24 to 41444. One easy text can make a remarkable impact on a student's life.
Thank you for your support and enjoy the rest of the Texas Invitational.
Thank you.
They're breaded in spicy tempura and made with cayenne. But most importantly, they're back.
Run and get 10-piece spicy or regular McNuggets for $4.29 and paired with a Dr. Pepper.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome to the McDonald's Texas Invitational Basketball Tournament, the largest basketball tournament in the big state of Texas.
The time is here, you waited long enough. Training, improving, you made pain your best friend. Thousands of reps traded for that one decisive moment. But are you satisfied?
Back-to-back titles for North Broward.
Did you make your point? Where will you stand on the road to stay? Boom, boom, bam, on the road to stay. Forget last year's record, because now it's 0-0.
Ramos is going to dribble it out, and the Broncos are your 2023 Division I Girls Champions.
It's time to suit up and prepare for battle. Prepare for battle. Where will you stand? Where will you stand? On the road to stay. Boom, boom, bam. Slam it and dunk it. On the road to stay. On the road to stay. Boom, boom, bam. Boom, boom, bam. Slam it and dunk it. On the road to stay. On the road to stay.
Hi, I'm Brennan, and you're watching the live stream coverage of the annual McDonald's Texas Invitational. We're not in halftime. FB Marshall's in the lead over SA Brennan with a score of 32-31. Remember, you can always watch this stream by going to the TexasInvitational.com. The game will continue shortly, but first, here's a word from our sponsors.
Gerald Sanchez. And here we go with San Antonio Brennan, Fort Bend Marshall. And Brennan in the gold and Marshall in the white. Exact same school colors. Could be mistaken for one of them.
It was hard to tell who was who when they were warming up because they had the same color warm-ups on.
Time Todd, the junior, he and his brother Talon Todd, twins, going up for the shot. I guess you can tell the difference between Talon and Time. Talon's got the light and dark hair. And there's Talon right there. Couldn't hold on to that ball. Time just has the dark hair. One wears 4. Talon. Time wears number 5. A foul is called against Marshall. A foul is called against San Antonio Brennan on that previous play. Time Todd. Now another foul.
That looked like it was on Cago.
And it was. That's his first. Cago is the leading scorer for either side. He has 14 points. Same starting 5.
4 of those are 3-pointers, by the way.
Same starting 5 for Fort Bend Marshall and for San Antonio Brennan. Brennan the Bears, Fort Bend Marshall the Buffaloes.
So these guys went in at halftime. What do you think the coaches told them?
Shot, his turnaround is no good. And this is going to be a foul called against Kevin Sargent.
How do you regroup on such a close half and get your kids motivated to come out and win the game?
Well, I think that maybe San Antonio Brennan and head coach Cody Kogel said that you've got to secure the rebounds. Fort Bend Marshall has had a couple of offensive rebounds. There's a ball that's kicked in the corner. Still going to be San Antonio Brennan basketball. Take care of the basketball and then rebound that basketball because Marshall has had several second chance opportunities.
And it looks like Marshall's coach went in and told them put some pressure on the ball because they are really putting a lot of pressure on the ball right now.
Open 3, and it is going to rattle in. Talon Todd, left-handed shot, goes. And then a foul on Padilla. Padilla, that's going to be his 3rd personal. Remember, Padilla in that first quarter picked up a couple of early fouls. I remember playing basketball once, Art, and I got in foul trouble, and no matter what I did, it just seemed like I would always foul in that game, and I barely played. It's one of those games that when you pick up a couple of quick fouls and you try to stay out of foul trouble, it just doesn't work. On the other end, San Antonio Brennan has taken the lead now, up by 2.
Keep in mind, this is a high school ball, so there's only 5 fouls allowed.
Another 3-pointer. This time it's no good by Todd.
Looks like Marshall slowed the pace down a bit.
Run their half-court offense. Crawford. That's going to be a foul on Todd. Yep, that's going to be on Todd. That's his 3rd personal. So Padilla and Todd, that is Time Todd, both have 3 personal fouls. And Time Todd coming out of the ball game for Fort Bend Marshall. Rather for San Antonio Brennan. It's going to be loose on the floor, but picked up. Jump shot, in and out, no good. And mistiming his jump was Crawford. And if he timed that perfectly, he would have got the offensive rebound. There's a putback.
Did you see the way Kingston Fleming's coming down on the fast break, just pass the ball to the outside? He has a way to see that floor and find the open man.
Court vision. something that sometimes you just can't teach. Walker gets it inside to Sargent.
We're back within 2.
Sargent now is the leading scorer between the two teams. He has 15 points, and just about all of them have been point blankers. Close to the basket. Kogel. Now it's Todd.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Kogel just has a finesse about him.
Slows the game down. He kind of plays it under control. In a helter-skelter game, that is an invaluable piece. Someone that can really slow the game down and play the game that you want to at your pace. Inside, unable to put that shot down, Sargent. Flemings throws the basket off the glass, up and in.
It's 42-36 with 3:50 left to go in the third period, and Brennan is slowly chipping away at a small lead.
Underneath, and a foul is called. Now, the biggest lead by Brennan earlier in that first half was 7. Marshall's biggest lead was 3. They led by 1 at the half. And it is Brennan leading here by 6. 2 free throws coming up for Kevin Sargent. We talked about the amount of teams that have played in this tournament over the years from 2003 to 2023. The 199 different schools between boys and girls. 80 of those were girls. 119 different boys teams over the years have played in this tournament at the McDonald's Texas Invitational. Nice scoop shot, up and in by Flemings.
Taking the lead to 8. Marshall could not convert on those 2 free throws, and Flemings was able to go coast to coast.
Now the lead is the biggest it has been. 8-point lead for Brennan. Inside, unable to get the shot to go is Sargent. Sargent's had a couple of point blankers, and he isn't able to put it down. Flemings, bottom of the net. It's a double-digit lead, 11 for San Antonio Brennan. He just stopped and popped, and that net barely moved. And Ronnie Courtney and the Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes are going to talk it over.
That was just some incredible basketball right now on Brennan's side. They are just fierce. It doesn't matter what, they're going to keep coming at you and keep coming at you. And once they get on a roll, they are unstoppable.
As we mentioned, the number of boys teams that have played over the year in the 21-year history, 119 different teams. And the most championships won by one particular school is Kingwood, the Kingwood Mustangs. They've won 5 in boys. They've won 4 Division I gold championships and then 1 in silver. And you look at that time frame of 2004, 2005 with guys like Nick Wise and Mike Singletary on those Kingwood teams. They won the state championship. In fact, Nick Wise won the MVP back in 2004 for Kingwood in this tournament. He went on to play in the state championship game. Royce Huseman, the coach, the former coach over at Kingwood, was coach of many of those teams. In fact, I was coach of all those teams that won the 5 championships over the tournament's history.
That is incredible. So Marshall just got an inbound pass. They're bringing it around with 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the third period.
And Marshall gets 2.
That was number 23, Jaden Jones, standing 6'5", and is a junior.
Kogel from the free throw line. Can't get it to go.
That's Jaden Jones on the rebound.
Jones got the ball now. Art, what that tells me right there, with all those different teams that have played over the history and only 5 championships for one school, this is really good basketball for the tournament. A lot of competition. Minute and a half in the third quarter.
It is a unique level of competition. It is, you've got so many different levels. You've Division I, Division II. You've got gold, silver, bronze. There's a lot of effort made to evenly pair these teams so that they can get better.
There's been 61 different boys teams that have won at least one trophy, one championship trophy in the silver, or the gold, the silver, the bronze over the years from 2003 to this year, or last year, I should say, 23. We add to that number with this year, and we're playing in the gold championship for the boys now.
This game right here could pretty much be considered the pregame state championship.
Well, we'll remember that because there have been several times where 2 teams match up and then they eventually play in the state tournament against each other. Or they play in the state tournament, whether it be in 6A, 5A for their respective divisions. There's a shot up and a foul. And this is going to be 2 free throws coming up for Armani Theus. 46.5 remaining in the third quarter. Gerald Sanchez along with Art Del Barrio from Phillips Fieldhouse, the Pasadena McDonald's Texas Invitational.
You've got Armani Theus at the line, 6'1" guard.
Now there's been, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are 12 different campuses that have games.
There's 12 different campuses that have games. We've got gyms all over, the high school gyms. We've got a intermediate school gym. We've got PHS has their gym and their auxiliary gym, and we put games. If we've got a gym, we find a place. We find a place to utilize it.
I remember Deer Park joining the tournament, and that opened up even more gyms.
Yeah, there's the Deer Park Auxiliary Gym as well. And, we try to get as many teams in here and as in and out in 3 days.
Kevin Sargent puts the putback. He's got 17 points. He's the leading scorer for Fort Bend Marshall. Closing seconds of quarter number 3, Flemings, stutter step. Kingston Flemings pass it off to Padilla. And the layup is going to be short. They won't get a shot off. Or will they?
That's all I got to say on that one is,
two-thirds away from the basket, and that shot didn't go, but it will lead us to quarter number 4. At the end of 3, it is a 7-point lead for San Antonio Brennan.
This is just some spectacular basketball. We still have one more quarter. This thing could go either way still. A couple of threes up in the air, and they're back in it.
We played a fast first quarter. The second quarter took a little bit longer, in fact, a lot longer, and a quick third quarter. Let's see what the fourth quarter is in store for us.
Well, going back to our girls' game, it was imperative that Judson control the ball and take time off the clock, and it kind of looks like that's got to be the same strategy for the Brennan Bears.
Well, if Brennan is going to do that, they are going to have to deal with a very pesky and aggressive Fort Bend Marshall defense, whereas Fort Bend Marshall is going to try to create turnovers, try to create havoc, and they're going to try to extend Brennan beyond the three-point line and try to force them to make mistakes.
Well, one thing about Brennan, though, they don't make very many mistakes.
San Antonio Brennan, relatively new school, as is Fort Bend Marshall. Fort Bend Marshall opening up in the 2000s. Brennan is 15 years, and 13 years is Cody Kogel. the head coach, 3 years as a girl coach, and 10th year as the boys basketball coach.
That's incredible. As we get started here in the fourth quarter, there's a three, and wow, just straight through the net. Puts Marshall within 4.
Lowe with the three-point shot. So let's see if San Antonio Brennan, how they will handle the basketball. Even though it is still early on, they've got that 4-point lead, and there is no shot clock in basketball. But I don't think it's in their nature just to kind of use clock. And a foul is called. They want to shoot and kind of extend the lead on based on their offense, and then let the defense go to work.
Looks like the foul was on the floor with the inbound pass. Here's Kogel.
Kogel. Flemings from long distance.
That was an NBA three-pointer there.
Flemings just dialing that one up from the left side. Lowe trying to move that basketball around. Now it's Marshall that's taking their time offensively. Lowe, 15-footer, rainbow, front iron is no good, and Kogel gets the rebound. He's going to have to fight for it, and they're going to call a foul. That's going to be against Jaden Jones. Jones picks up his second personal foul, I beg your pardon.
Another foul on the floor. Fleming's bringing it up fast.
Theus finds the open Jones. Jones lays it up. He's fouled. That was a good pass right there. Theus to Jones. He was patient. He let that double team come in him, and then it was Jones. It was open underneath the basket, and he gets 2 in the foul.
I will say something. Since Jones came into this game, it has really changed the momentum for Marshall.
3-point play, and it is a 4-point game. (50-46). Flemings again. No good.
Marshall playing the ball very high, trying to spread the defense.
Layup is going to be short. Sargent, another point blanker. Remember, we saw Pearland in that girls' championship game in the fourth quarter have a tough time making shots from very close. That was the second shot that they couldn't make in, and that's an offensive rebound by Kogel, and he puts in an uncontested 2 right there.
That was a very, very basic tip-in drill right there. Fundamentals. Fundamentals are everything in basketball.
They are. You know, Michael Jordan once said the reason he's able to do the spectacular, and he didn't mean it in a cocky way or anything like that, but there's no doubt that Michael Jordan was one of the greatest athletes.
Here we go.
Flemings.
Here comes the dunk.
Flemings.
Boom.
Speaking of Michael Jordan, there's a slam dunk. But Michael Jordan said, the reason I'm able to do the spectacular is because I master the fundamentals. And that is so important. But there's Flemings there with the 2. He's got the 23rd and 24th points of his evening. He is the leading scorer for both sides. He has taken over in this second half with his future college coach watching him play. Kelvin Sampson is in attendance tonight from University of Houston. Lowe loses the ball. Here's Kogel to Padilla. Padilla will lay it. Oh, it's blocked. Sargent gets the block. Here's Jones. 2-on-1. And it's broken up by Flemings. Kogel to Flemings. Baseline. 3. In the air. No good. Underneath. Another. And a foul is called as Jones sends Fleming down to the ground. Boy, they are playing at a very frenetic, fast pace, very athletic and very physical.
Yes, 4 minutes left, and it is a rough game. 8-point lead for the Brennan Bears.
I want to touch on some of the things of the tournament that go on, and we talked about how the planning starts in January, and there's so many different components that go to this tournament, like the tickets and the sponsorships and the service of the hospitality, the hotels, the meals, everything, the organization and planning that goes into this.
It starts in January. It's a meeting a month and sometimes twice a month, and lots of people, lots of moving parts, but a lot of synergy, a lot of people working together to make this happen. It's about 350 adult volunteers and over 250 student volunteers just working the tournament these 3 days.
The biggest lead in this game for Brennan has been 11.
Now, one of the biggest things, though, is this is also a fundraiser for the Pasadena ISD Education Foundation, and a lot of the money generated from this tournament goes right back to teachers, to the classrooms, to help fund things that the state may not be able to fund, local budgets may not be able to fund. So this gives an opportunity for teachers to be innovative and creative and write a grant for something they want to do in their classroom.
Foul. Flemings. and in low. Have just a little bit of a conversation right there.
Yeah, we'll call it a conversation.
Oh, it's Flemings to the line. He's got such a beautiful shot, and the way that he elevates and rises, very athletic. Gifted ball player.
Very gifted ball player. There he goes, perfect form on that free throw.
Well, that's such an important aspect of the game, is the free throws.
And he just signed with the Houston Cougars last week with U of H. Understand you're a Cougar?
Oh, yes. Inside, Sargent. Sargent gets his 19th point on that shot in close. He is the leading scorer for the Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes. The leading scorer for San Antonio Brennan is Kingston Flemings. He has 26 in the ballgame, followed by 18 from Colin Kogel, or Camden Kogel, I should say.
There's a timeout right now. There's about 3 minutes left in the game, a little over 3 minutes left in the game, and it's 7-point lead. What are you discussing if you're on Marshall's side?
Well, you got you're trailing by 7. You're going to try to continue to play tight defense. Make sure that you secure the rebound. Several times here in this second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Remember the offensive rebound by Camden Kogel. He was right underneath, and he got an easy layup. Got to secure that rebound. I know that that's something that is so important for coaches is you don't want other teams to get second chance opportunities, whether it be a turnover or another team getting the rebound when you should have gotten that rebound. Both teams coming back on the floor. Gerald Sanchez and Art Del Barrio, fourth quarter from Phillips Fieldhouse in Pasadena, the McDonald's Texas Invitational Gold Division Championship game. 3 minutes, 12 seconds left. 57-50. San Antonio Brennan out of Region 4. Flemings. Time Todd and his brother Talon Todd, and twin brothers. It's only Talon is on the floor right now. Marshall gets a couple of baskets here, can make it very close and interesting. But they're going to have to put the ball in the hole. And a turnover. The thing about Kingston Flemings is he's able to patrol the area and use his length and width and athletic ability to go in there and clog the passing lanes for the opponent.
Looks like they're doing exactly what Judson did. They're stalling. They're just moving the ball around. Move the ball around. Move the ball around. If there's not a shot, don't take it. There you go. Get it back out there.
Kogel misses the three, and it's rebounded by Sargent.
You've got almost 2 minutes, 5 seconds left in the half.
Low. He's fouled on a three-point shot. Padilla got caught with a hand on his cookie jar, and that is his
fourth foul.
Fifth.
Is it his fifth foul?
Yeah. And he's going to foul out of the ball game, and that's going to have Time Todd come in. Talon's twin brother. So Padilla fouls out of the ball game.
You know, something trendy I've seen lately is when a player fouls out, they go shake the other coach's hand, and I think that's a very classy thing to teach our kids.
Yes. First free throw. Low hits it, the senior. One more coming up. Well, the most important thing is these young men learning sportsmanship and how to carry yourself. Actually, I said one more coming up, two more. He was fouled on a three-point attempt. So he gets 3 free throws. 2 so far going through. And they're scoring, and it stops the clock, Art.
Right.
3 free throws. And we come up on 2 minutes.
Turns into a 4-point game, just like that.
2-possession ball game. Let's see what Brennan does here in a half-court setting. Marshall was able to set their defense, and so Brennan's going to have to get through. And there's a steal. Low is going to be all by himself and lay it in, and all of a sudden now it is a one-possession ball game. 57-55, and Low played the passing lane beautifully. Anticipation, and he took away that ball and laid it in.
Turned it into a 2-point game.
Minute 26.
And just like that, it could be anybody's ball game now.
Kingston Flemings almost loses the ball. Todd. Three-pointer. Got it. Time out. San Antonio Brennan. A huge three that pushes that lead back to 5 in a 2-possession ball game.
With 1 minute and 11 seconds left in the game, there's still a lot of time for basketball, but when you're shooting threes, it can go either way.
Well, they almost got the steal at midcourt. They got the steal on the previous offensive possession that Lowe, as Ian Lowe got that steal and he laid it in. That made it a 2-point game. And then playing defense on Kingston Flemings, he almost came away with it again, but they were able to be patient, work it around, find an open shot, and hit the 3-point shot.
Basketball doesn't get any better than this.
We're seeing a tremendous amount of talent on both sides. The will to win. And for the high school game, this is preparing them for their district play and then eventually the postseason, which you figure both these teams will be relevant come February through March.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think we will see both of these teams in the state tournament.
Well, they always say the road to state starts here. Marshall will get the ball. They're going to have to go the length of the court with 1:11. They can't take too much time, but make sure you get enough for a good shot. They're in the half-court offense. Jonathan Walker, who we haven't called his name very much. 3, no good, and that's going to be rebounded by Brennan. A 2-possession ball game, under a minute to play. And they foul Kingston Flemings.
Well, with Kingston at the line, he really needs to make these free throws right now to seal the game for the San Antonio Brennan Bears. And there's one.
Calmly sinks that first one. Calmly sinks the second. No problem there.
7-point ball game.
It's a 3-possession game now. Jones lays it in. And Ronnie Courtney is going to call a timeout.
Back to a 2-possession game. 5 points.
Well, they're going to have to create a turnover defensively. And, you know, Brennan doesn't have to take another shot. So I'm sure that Ronnie Courtney in that timeout for his Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes talking about creating a turnover or something defensively to get that ball back.
Now, Brennan took advantage of Allen yesterday in this very similar situation, and it was a long bomb to Flemings, who then slam dunked it to seal the deal in overtime. So let's see what happens here. You're right. There's going to have to be some clever. Maybe we go all the way down to Hoosiers and do the picket fence.
29 points for Kingston Flemings here tonight for San Antonio Brennan. Hoosiers, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Lex Luthor.
You know, they said he didn't want to do that movie and said it was going to be a flop, and it turned out to be one of the best sports movies of all time.
Yeah, one of my favorite basketball movies. Very embodied Indiana basketball. Quick foul.
Yeah, do you really want to foul Flemings?
Well, at this point, you're kind of running out of time. You know, you could try to force the ball out of his hand, and then because they were still in the backcourt. But the quick foul, and so they're going to take the opportunity to have Flemings shoot 2 shots.
Yeah.
And he knocks down his first free throw here. Now, that's always a good mark of a ball player, as you can see how they handle the clutch pressure situations.
Well, you are in the finals, and you've hit 4 free throws in a row flawlessly.
Three-pointer is no good. And he steps on the line. They say that Lowe stepped on the line as he came down for the rebound. And that's going to give the ball back to Brennan with 16 seconds left. And this is looking more and more like San Antonio Brennan is going to win the championship. And they foul Todd in the backcourt.
Well, we've got a second. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Let's thank McDonald's, our title sponsor. Let's thank all of our platinum and sponsors. If you're watching us right now, look at the bottom left of your screen. Our sponsors have been scrolling throughout the entire broadcast. Just want to thank everybody who's sponsored this tournament, all our volunteers, our AV departments, our culinary departments, our journalism and photography kids, everybody that is just helping out, the communication department for Pasadena ISD, the steering committee, the city of Pasadena, city of Deer Park, the Deer Park ISD, Pasadena ISD, the Pasadena School Board, Deer Park School Board, everybody who has been a part of this in any way. This is a huge success, and we just thank everybody for being a part of it.
Well, that'll do it. With 4 seconds left, Brennan's going to win this one. 66-57, they let the clock run out, and San Antonio Brennan wins the gold bracket in the Texas Invitational, the 2004 McDonald's Texas Invitational. Congratulations to the San Antonio Brennan Bears winning 66-57. Fort Bend Marshall played a good game. They could have very easily won the game.
And this was the Division I gold division here at the Texas Invitational. Just spectacular basketball.
Well, again, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to everybody that put this together. I know there's a lot of planning that goes involved in this, and Fort Bend Marshall and San Antonio Brennan to get to this championship game. They both endured the sprint, really, 5 games in 3 days.
Yes, 5 games in 3 days, and let's thank our broadcasting kids, over 160 days, the games in 3 days.
Yeah, they hats off to them. Congratulations, guys. Y'all did a fantastic job. thank you for bringing all of the games from all of the different venues to the fans that watched not only in the Houston area, not only in the state of Texas, not only in the country, but around the world.
Around the world. Hey, to our friends in France that are watching us, you know, do not think that you were not noticed.
Art, it's been a pleasure. I've had a fun time with you this afternoon. It's been a lot of fun. I hope y'all have me back for one more time.
This was our first time broadcasting together. I hope it's not our last.
Yes, absolutely. Art Del Barrio, I'm Gerald Sanchez, wishing you a pleasant good day. Anything else that we want to conclude on?
No, just once again, thanks to our steering committee for everything they've done to make this event possible.
I'll let you take it out.
All right, let's have a great night here in Pasadena at Phillips Gym in Pasadena, Texas. Saying good night from the Texas Invitational Texas Invitational Basketball Tournament. The road to state starts here.
The all-tournament trophy will be presented by Debbie Pace.
Good job.
Debbie Pace is the director of the Pasadena Education Foundation. The all-tournament player for Fort Bend Marshall goes to Kevin Sargent.
You are the man.
All right, give it up for our second place winners, Fort Bend Marshall Buffaloes. Good luck to your rescue on the rest of your season. And now we have our first place winners from San Antonio Brennan High School. Congratulations to San Antonio Brennan, our boys 2024 Division I Tournament Champion. Here present the trophy is Marisol Cooney, McDonald's owner, local McDonald's owner. Medals are being presented by Patty Bodkin, President-elect of Pasadena Education Foundation. Medals are being presented by Patty Boykin and the all-tournament trophy presented by Judy Harrison of the Education Foundation. The all-tournament player for San Antonio Brennan is Camden Cowgill. The MVP, our Scott Talton Award, is being presented by Kurt Lewis, Chairman of the McDonald's Texas Invitational. The MVP goes to San Antonio Brennan, Kingston Flemings. The Ben Better Coach Award is being presented by Dr. Deanne Powell, Superintendent of Pasadena ISD. And the Big Better Coach Award is being presented to Coach A. Cowgill of San Antonio, Brennan. Thank you to all the participants, sponsors, volunteers, fans, and people behind the scenes. And a big thank you to Kurt Lewis, Chairman of the McDonald's Texas Invitational Steering Committee, for all you do to make this tournament a success. Drive safely, happy holidays, have a wonderful school year.
Don't forget your t-shirts, $5 on the way out.
The game between F.A. Marshall and S.A. Brennan comes to an end here at Phillips Fieldhouse. That was the boys' championship of the McDonald's Texas Invitational. S.A. Brennan won over F.B. Marshall with a score of 66 to 57. We're here with Coach
Cody Kogel.
Coach, tell me, how do you feel after this win?
Oh, it was great. Really proud of our guys. We played really hard all weekend. Had a couple kids go down early in the weekend. It was really fun to see other kids just kind of step up and seize the moment and make the most of it.
Yeah. Would you tell me what do you think was the key to your team's success?
I think it's just our everyday practices. You know, the kids getting after it every day and kind of sharpening the iron. So we come out here and we're ready to see whatever just because they see whatever every day in practice.
Awesome. And one very, very last question. What can you take away from the McDonald's Texas Invitational?
I think just a variety of teams that we saw. I mean, it gave us the opportunity to see a wide variety of teams and styles of play that hopefully will do us well as we're trying to make a state championship run.
Yeah, awesome. Once again, congratulations for the big win, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. You guys do awesome.
Thank you. Don't forget to check us out, Facebook, X, and Instagram at TX Invitational for more game updates, interviews, and highlights. As seniors in high school, this is our very last time participating at the McDonald's Texas Invitational. It's been fun being here for the past 4 years. Definitely an experience we'll never forget. Thank you everybody who made this event possible. This is Nelia and Juliana signing out.